everybody. Absolutely love starting my Mondays on these calls. It is just such an honor and a privilege, and that Mr. Thomas continues to invite me back to be one of the elite people that he chooses to kind of share information to his organization and everybody plugging in. I'm telling you right now, everybody in ACN, all the top leaders, all respect Mr. Thomas, all lean to him, all ask him for advice and mentoring and coaching. And he can handpick anybody to have these conversations. And the fact that I'm one of the few, I know Ms. Roxanne is one of the few. And it really just is an honor and a privilege. And I get so excited every time. And I actually start to think about, like, you know, what can I share? How can I make an impact? And I know there are new people on this call. Welcome, congratulations. I think you made the best decision ever to add ACN into your life. You're gonna be able to follow a system and make a ton of money. And in addition to that, you're going to end up with relationships that become really intimate and become like family. And so over time. And so congratulations, welcome. If you have not been made privy to I mean, we just spent this time talking about how incredible Mr. Al Thomas is. Read the book. I've already downloaded it just now. That was cool. I'm going to read it when we're done. But Mr. Thomas is genuinely not just one of the most successful people in ACN. He's actually one of the most successful people in the industry globally. So you are in a position to be able to glean from this man wisdom that if you simply follow the very simple instructions he gives you, or the leaders that he's working with give you, you could end up being massively successful. And that is actually what he wants. He wants every single one of us to be as successful as we desire to be, and as we're willing to put in the work to be. So just follow his lead, follow his system. He's absolutely amazing. Thank you for this opportunity, Mr. Thomas. I appreciate it. And I'm excited to read the book when we're done. So yay. Okay, so thinking about what to talk about today and this month, what I decided to do was kind of talk about tools. And it's funny, you talked about Labor Day, Mr. Thomas. I had to actually look up what Labor Day was for. So according to Google, Labor Day is celebrated to recognize the achievements of the United States labor movement in the late 19th century, when American workers began to form labor unions and advocate for better working conditions, reasonable hours, and fair wages, according to USA Today. So as Mr. Thomas said, okay, so I mean, pre-sale, I didn't even know what Labor Day was for. I mean, I knew it was for working things, but imagine you put in the work in ACN, and like he said, every day is Labor Day. Like Mr. Thomas has no idea. Like we were laughing about that years ago. He's like, I don't know when holidays are. Like, I know, it's kind of weird. I only knew when holidays were because my daughter was in school, right? And so you have to kind of plan around that. But just imagine if every day was your personal Labor Day because you labored to get to where you want to be in our ACN business. So how do we do this? How do we do this? We do this by using tools. So today's going to be interactive. And thank you very much for many of you having your cameras on, because I really can see all your amazing, beautiful faces. And I like that I'm not talking to myself in my office. So what I want to do is I want this to be interactive in that we're going to use the chat. So I've reopened my chat. So if you will do me a favor, and in the chat, if you'll start to write what your occupation is or what kind of business you own, because I want to kind of figure out here what kind of industries we're a part of. So if you can just kind of throw that in there real quick, that'd be awesome. Okay, speech pathologist. Hi, Talita. Retail. Government. Okay, be specific though. What is your actual task? Tax prep, RN, legal secretary, journalist, okay, counselor, cool. saw another one. Oh, RN. Okay, so if you go and you read through what everybody's writing, so we have retail, we have speech pathologist, art, an RN, tax prep, painter. That's a good one, painter. Behavior technician, education counseling, secretary, journalist, human resource, counselor, owned an auto supply and printing. Let's see, apartment manager. Let's see what else. Okay, cool. Now, those of you who were specific in your what you in your occupation, what I want you to do is in the chat, I want you to write only one. Let me see how coachable everybody is, how well people can follow directions. Write one, your best tool, like the one tool that if you did not have this one tool to do your job, you couldn't do your job. What is that one tool? Go ahead and start writing those in. Patience. Okay. That's funny. Zillow, software, listener, mental, okay, people. Ask questions, okay. Trowel, there we go. I was looking for the painter. Hand tools. Brian Baker. You're killing me. Word processing. There we go. That's a tool. Yep. Okay. Observation, customers, devices, clients. Brick Mason PDX, whatever that is, but it's a tool. Oh, there you go, Mr. Baker. iPad. There you go. Okay. Now, here's what I'm trying to get everybody to kind of wrap their head around is in order for us to be able to build our ACN income, which is what we're all here to do, right? We need to use the tools that are available to us. Those of you who've been on in 2 months ago, you always hear me say, right? So for the new people, I would say, Mr. Thomas is a tool. He is a tool. It's a tool we need to use. We need to monopolize and use our tool. So I started thinking about what are some of the ACN tools, okay? So we're gonna talk about presenting. So when we're presenting, one of our biggest, best tools is actually, and remembering another one, is our upline. Somebody to present the business on your behalf. Now, most of the time we use our upline, but it could be somebody's sideline, it could be your downline. I use my downline all the time to present on my behalf. Anybody but you to present the business is your best tool, okay? So use somebody other than you to present the business for you on your behalf. Now, Mr. Al Thomas every Tuesday does what? An effective presentation, right? Use that window of time to get people to see the business, but that's one day a week. You guys use every day, present every day. Mr. Kupitz has videos up in our back office that we can use. If I'm in a pinch and I need to share the business and somebody's not available, I play Mr. Kupitz's video, right? To share the business. Anybody but you. Mr. Thomas has created a system now where we can use his quick videos as peaking tools, right? To go out there and peak. But once we get their interest, then we need to have somebody other than you present the business. Now, on this Zoom, I love that he starts it off with saying, who did what, right? And so if you notice, there were consistent names. There always is. Marvita, Jackie, Al Randolph, Terrio, right? If you really start to read through people's answers, who's doing what, those people are your tools. Reach out to them and say, oh my gosh, what is it you're doing to get Al Randolph 12 peaks, right? What is it you're doing to be able to get all of these Marvita, get people, new people started, qualified, international? These people are your tools because they can tell you what it is they're doing to have the success that it is that you're wanting. And then, as you all know, edification. And we'll talk about this again, but edification is your biggest tool. I don't care whether it's a brand new person. So, like Talita, she's on my team. She's on here today. She's brand new. She promoted executive team leader in her first 30 days. So she got her bonus. Okay. Um, or me, who's been in for 14 years as a regional vice president. It doesn't matter who's presenting the business. Without proper edification, okay, when it comes to presenting, you can't say the right thing to the wrong person, wrong thing to the right person. How many of you heard that saying before? Right? That's a common saying we say. However, lack of proper edification will not tee us up to be able to be as effective as we could be. Okay. So could you imagine this? So I'm going to have Talita do a presentation, and I do a proper edification, not have time today, but I do a proper edification to teach it. So I do a proper edification. Listen, she's been in for a couple of months. She has already had multiple promotions. She is in the second position in. She has a team outside of the area. She has built a customer base already where she's generated some income. She is a true servant woman willing to help us all, and she's a ton of fun. Let me introduce new top producing executive team leader, Ms. Talita Chong, right? Okay, so then she comes up and she does an effective presentation. An effective presentation isn't anything other than reading the boxes, like Mr. Thomas does. Okay, so there's that, right? People are gonna be listening because they want to know what she has to say. Okay, but then let's say somebody brings me up, okay, and right, I'm in front of the room or on a Zoom, right, and they're like, okay, well, I'm excited to be here today, and I've got this woman. She's great. She's already had a lot of success. So, yeah. So, Keri, come on up, Keri. If you'll just share with everybody about what we're doing, Keri. Okay. So we'll teach edification another time again. Okay. But edification is one of your biggest tools. When we are teed up properly, then we can be effective in what it is that we're doing. Okay, that's presenting. Now, customer acquisition. How many of us understand the compensation plan? If we have 0 to a little customers, we are making 0 to a little bit of money, right? Without our personal customers, we cannot make overriding residual income. So we need to acquire personal customers. So what are our customer acquisition tools? Okay, your website. That is your biggest tool. However, would you agree? There's a lot of information on that website. So if all you do is send somebody to your website and say, tell me what services you want, they're going to go to it and they're going to look at it and go, I don't understand where to click, and they're going to move on to something else. Okay. Use your website as the tool it's designed to be, meaning if you can physically get with your customer to walk them through all the different service options and sign them up, that's great. If you can't physically get with them for whatever reason, then at minimum, be on the phone with them and ask them to, okay, click here, click here, click here, click here, in order for them to navigate your website. Don't leave it upon your customer to navigate your website because they're going to move on, or at least somebody like me would, okay? That wasn't nice, but it's true. I'm always true when I say these things. Okay, when you're new, use your upline, because here's the thing. Every customer you get, we make money too. So don't you think we're interested in you getting as many services as possible? Duh, right? So use your upline. We have financial gain as well. Okay, reps that use that service. So again, the people who were listing, who were getting customers, again, consistency, right? Maria got a bunch, Al Randolph, Terry O, right? Call them and go, what are you doing to get so many customers? Please help me. Tell me what you're doing to get so many customers that every day you're able to list something. Okay, this is a big one. Testimonials from existing customers. When you have, especially business owners, when you're trying to go get in a business account and they're like, wow, I don't know, and you already have business accounts, then you should say, listen, Sam down the road is my merchant service customer. Would you like to talk to him? Obviously, you have to ask Sam in advance, right? But as I get customers, I ask them, hey, listen, if I ever need you to share with somebody else the experience that you're having, would you? And before I keep even finished asking, they're like, absolutely, Kara, gotcha, right? So testimonials from existing customers. And then our back office. When it comes to customer acquisition, our back office is our best friend, okay? Because you can call on your back office in the middle of the night when you can't sleep. You can call on your office, your back office in your lunch break, right? Get in there and watch the videos. Some videos you can send to customers, others are educational for you. But if you can send a video to a customer for them to understand your service, great. There's always written material in our back office. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, take your lunch hour today, or I guess it's Labor Day, people aren't working. Take today, right? And get in your back office and go to IBO or go to products, right? And then every single product is there, and there's written material in there that the marketing team from ACN, the corporate office, they tell you exactly what to do and say in order to acquire a customer of that service, okay? And then the reps. Oh, that's what I meant. Reps from that service. So here's the thing. When we go to Orlando, I want you to take the time, not during a training, okay? During lunch, before training, after training. When we're training, we need to be trained. We need to be sitting and focusing and listening, okay? But go meet the vendors and go find a rep. Like I use one rep in Vivint, one. That's it, because he's amazing, right? As you meet these reps, you're going to be able to create relationships with them that you're going to end up with amazing, excellent customer service in the trying to get your potential customer to sign up. Use the reps. We are not experts in these services, you guys. That's the whole point of ACN. It's how you do it part-time. Don't become an expert in these services. No. Well, okay, let me rephrase that. I know, because I've been in here for 14 years and I have customer member service, I know every single service. I know every single service. However, I do not, out of my mouth, quote prices and all that stuff, okay? I either hook them up with a rep if I can, because that's their job, is to sell. My job is to refer. Their job is to sell, okay? Or I go onto the website with my customer and I know the answer already, but I go on there and I make sure that they see, what the pricing is and all that. And here's why. When I first got started, one of my new IBOs went on the website. It was like, I'm making it up. It was August 31st. Okay. And they saw pricing and they quoted that to their customer. September 1st, they got on and the pricing was different because that was a promotional price and the price was higher. Well, guess what? They didn't get their customer. So that's why I never quote out of my brain. I quote off of the website because we never know what is happening on that back end, and we don't need to, because that's why we paid, what we paid, $25 a month. Okay, and then our customer acquisition, your biggest tool is your mouth, and that you need to ask. If you don't ask people to become a customer, they're not going to become a customer, right? Like, hello, you need to ask. Do me a favor. Okay, so then we're going to wrap it up with this. Your best tools overall in building your ACN business is yourself. It's yourself. However, how are you presenting yourself? Like Harrison said, I need to be wearing button-up shirts to attract Mr. And how many Al Thomases did I let go? So what's funny is years ago, I started, I love to dress up, right? I love to dress up and I love to wear heels. Well, I live in the foothills and that looks weird, or it looks like I have a job, okay? Admin of sorts. So what I started doing was I started wearing really nice yoga pants, right? With my really nice sweatshirt or whatever when I go to Target, when I go to the grocery store in the middle of the day, because I want people to look at my youth and ask me, how is it that you can be at Target in the middle of the day? How is it you can be at the grocery store in the middle of the day and dress casually? I'm not just running there on my lunch break type of thing. So I'm not saying to do that. What I'm saying is, how do you want to present yourself? I know that Mr. Jeff Weber, I've never seen him not in a suit, ever. I was actually thinking about this when we were in Palm Desert and there was pools and he kept saying, swim in the pool, swim in the pool. I was thinking, do you have a bathing suit or do you swim in your suit? Right? but that's how he wants to present himself, is always in a three-piece suit. So there's also a system. So what system, follow the system. But right here, Mr. Brian Baker actually wrote brain. Okay. So right here, your mindset. Are you a person that people want to follow? Are you a person that people want to follow? And so I love that he gave us a copy of the book for free. Thank you very much, Mr. Thomas. Because when we're the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. And if we're spending time with successful people like Mr. Al Thomas, and he gave us a tool, we can download that. It's printable. Mine downloaded in Word. I'm going to print it, right? I'm going to carry it with me. When we can carry people like Mr. Thomas, we can surround ourselves around successful people like Mr. Al Thomas, eventually we'll get our mind right. And when we slip, we get to call people like Mr. Al Thomas, and they get to lift us back up to where we want to be. So my point of today is that, the painter, I forget what the painter wrote, some sort of trowel, right? I think that was the painter. Anyway, as a painter, there's a tool you need. As an RN, right, you need the stethoscopy thing, right? The blood pressure thing, whatever. In occupations, there are tools that are necessary in order for you to do your job. In ACN, we have a lot of tools. So the question becomes, are you using the tools that are accessible to you? And if you're not, then make yourself a plan to start to use the tools. The system is already in place. Mr. Thomas has mastered it. He's teaching it to all of us. We just need to simply follow the directions in which he gives us so that we can eventually in time have the success it is that we're looking for. And ideally, to be able to have the success, for some of us, we want the level of success that he has. So exactly, Pierce, just do it. So, but be methodical. Could you imagine? So my dad was just in the hospital for 4 days. Some of you know that. That was crazy. Anyway, could you imagine? I don't have a stethoscopy thing, but let's pretend this is a stethoscope. Could you imagine if part of the problem was his heart? Okay. So could you imagine if the doctor walked up to assess his heart rate that was really bad, and he had the stethoscope, right? And so you know how one end of the stethoscope they put in their ear, and the other end of the stethoscope they put on they go around and listen, right? Imagine if they did that backwards. Like they put the part where you listen on my dad, and the part where you're supposed to hear the heart rate in their own ear. Like that wouldn't work. It's the tool, but they're not using it correctly. So we have tools here in ACN. We just need to use them correctly. So that's my conversation for today. I am so looking forward to reading the book, Mr. Thomas. I'm looking forward to our conversation next Monday. I appreciate y'all jumping on. I know it's a holiday. You could be in your boat or whatever, backyard doing something, but thanks for spending Monday morning with me and us. And I'm going to turn it back to our amazing mentor, leader, friend, savior. He's my savior, at least. The infamous, the amazing Mr. Al Thomas. Thank you very much.